You're listening to the Hustled Up Podcast. I'm Laura Natoli.
And I'm Holly Silva, and we are best friends since birth turned multi-passionate entrepreneurs and co-owners of Chores & More, a successful service-based business where everybody is treated like a best friend.
Welcome to our show where tactical business education meets fun and real conversations about this wild journey called life.
Get ready to be inspired. Grab your headphones, turn up the volume, and let's hustle up.
What is up, Hustled Up fam? Welcome back to this week's episode. We are your hosts. I'm Laura.
And I'm Holly.
And I know if you guys have been listening or watching for a few weeks now, you're like, wow, guys, you have had some incredible guests on, and we really have. It's been so incredible to connect with so many amazing individuals who we wouldn't have even met if we didn't have this podcast. So, but it's just Holly and I today, and we have a pretty incredible topic to go over. But before I dive into that, as always, I gotta do it. I gotta remind you that if you're loving what you're hearing, to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you are listening and watching. Just a reminder, we are a video podcast now as well. So if you're listening to this and you're like, what? I would rather watch your beautiful faces talk. You can find us the video format on Spotify and YouTube as well. So let's dive into today's topic. We are going to talk about something that is so important, and I love that we're going over this topic because I feel like it's applicable to a lot of business owners, but a lot of business owners are going to be skeptical, and I was at first too. We're going to talk about why you should always be hiring. And when I say always hiring, I mean literally always hiring. Do not pause those job ads. I don't care if you're overstaffed by 10 employees. Do not pause those job ads. Do not pause your interviewing process. And there are so many reasons why this is so important. And Holly and I have made that mistake in the past where we're like, you know what, we're good. We're going to take a few weeks off. We're going to pause those Indeed ads. Nope. It always comes back to bite us in the booty. So we're going to go over, what happens when you stop interviewing, why it's so important, some really crazy statistics that are going to literally blow your mind. So just try to go into this episode with an open mind. If you're skeptical, just hang in for the ride. I promise your mind is going to be changed when we're done with this episode. So keep on listening.
Are you tired of spending your entire weekend cleaning when you could be going out to brunch with your girls?
First of all, I love brunch. And second of all, yes, there are so many things I could be doing instead of cleaning my house on the weekend.
Oh yeah, like playing video games.
Or watching a movie with the kids.
Going on a date with your significant other.
Taking your dog to the dog park.
Going to the movies.
Solving world hunger.
Yes! Exactly. So this is why it is such a good idea to call up Chores & More for your deep and recurring cleaning needs.
And do you want to know something really, really cool?
What?
If anybody mentions Hustled Up when they call to book, they can receive up to $100 off their deep cleaning.
Up to $100 off. What are you doing still sitting there? Pick up the phone now, mention our podcast, and never have to spend your weekends cleaning again.
Simply go to choresandmorellc.com. You can fill out a request quote form there, or give us a call, send us a text, 631-397-0177. It is time to get back to doing the things you love. Let us take care of the cleaning.
All right, we are back, and we are discussing why you should always be hiring. And for the skeptics out there, I'm going to hit you with a really, really hard pill to swallow right off the bat, because Holly and I learned this at CBF Live this year. Libby DeLucian, who we had as a guest a few episodes back, gave us this statistic, and we literally wanted to vomit on the spot because it's so scary. Did you know that 52% of your current employees are thinking about quitting literally right now? Like, when Holly and I heard this statistic, we wrote it down and then we looked at each other and we're like, no, there's no way. But this could be for various reasons. It could be, they don't have job satisfaction. They're thinking about moving. They're thinking about a new career path. And there's so many job opportunities nowadays, especially because we live in a gig economy. People could go DoorDash, Uber Eats, TaskRabbit. There is so many places that people can find jobs nowadays that the market is just shifting, that even if you think you're doing everything right or you think your employees are loving your job still, regardless, 52% of your staff are thinking about quitting. Like, didn't that want to make you literally like gag, Holly?
I feel like I looked at you and was like, I'm going to throw up.
Yeah, you did. We counted our staff and we were like, that means that this percentage, like this amount of our staff is thinking about quitting. Who is it? Who do you think's thinking about quitting right
I
now?
know, we were trying to figure out, we're like, who is it? Who is thinking about it? And in our industry especially, and people who own cleaning businesses know this, turnover is high. It's hard to keep it low regardless. So just having this number for like in general, it means that it's inevitable and people are going to leave. And this would be for another episode, but you got to make sure your job is really good. Like the job you're offering is a really, really good one, but we'll cover that in a different episode for sure. This is not about that, but that's where you would start is like to minimize your turnover. But yeah, it's a crazy number. It really is. And it's important to always be hiring, especially for that reason. You always have turnover regardless, even if you have the most perfect job. Even if your job is like so good, there are going to be people who are going to leave. They are going to move. They're going to, maybe they get married and, and they go somewhere. They just decide they want a new career path, like Laura said. So it's inevitable. It's just something that happens. You can't control it all the time. You can minimize it, but you can't completely eliminate employee turnover. So you always got to make sure you are interviewing and hiring. And even if you don't have to like immediately hire, there are ways to always be interviewing, and we call it benching potential candidates. So keeping a bench is really cool. And I don't remember if we discussed this on our episode with Libby. I know Laura and I were both on her podcast where we spoke about it. I don't remember if we might have. I don't remember. I don't remember either, but it's called benching. It's called having a bench. It means that you keep these really good candidates who maybe you can't offer a job right away in the pipeline, right? So you hold on to their contact information. Laura and I love doing this where we'll say, listen, we love you, but we cannot offer you a job yet because we can't give you the hours you're looking for. Are you willing to wait a month? Because we know that we're constantly growing. We have a hefty marketing budget and we're always marketing. We're always growing, taking on new clients. We know for a fact we'll have room for them at some point, but we want to kind of give them the heads up and just let them know instead of leaving them hanging. Or if we, don't foresee us being able to offer them like a slot in a month or, a specific date, we'll say, hey, we loved you, but we can't offer you the position right now. Can we keep your number on file and give you a call when, we have more openings or something like that? We also love doing this if we even do need to hire, but we liked 2 or 3 candidates. Because sometimes, you find a few people that you really like and you say, okay, I'm going to choose this person to bring on now. I'm going to let these people know that I'm going to hold on to their information and call them at a later date in case they either didn't find a job or if they did, but maybe they want to switch back to you because you're such an awesome employer.
Exactly. Which is always the case in our case.
Yeah. So of course. So it's always important to keep that bench, keep a pipeline, keep their information on hand, have it at the ready, because you always want to make sure that you can immediately replace somebody if they're leaving, and unfortunately not everybody will give you a 2-week notice. So you have to stay vigilant. You have to
that
stay
bench
vigilant.
has saved our butt. Yeah, exactly. Like how many times has the bench saved our butt? And like, I feel like it could be kind of uncomfortable to keep a bench because I know I felt really awkward asking people to like sit on the bench at first. I have an employee that we still have to this day. I literally sent him a rejection email and I said, listen, I really liked you, but I just can't start you for at least another month. And I'm sure you don't want to wait this long. That was before we knew a bench was a thing. And he was like, no, I'll wait. And I was like, oh.
And then you know what happened? Someone left. I don't remember who. Someone left. And we were like, oh, just kidding. You can start next week. And he was like, great. And he's been with us for almost a year now. So it works out. I'm telling you, like once you master the bench, it can work in your favor. And some people, if they see that, this is why it goes back to like making sure your job offer is really, really good. Good pay, good incentives, good company culture, things like that. Because people will wait. People will wait for a job they want. They want job satisfaction. They want to feel, they want to work for a management team that will appreciate them. They want all of those things. So if you can show them that you are those things, they will wait. a lot of bosses don't know what the heck they're doing these days. So they don't want to just go work. Even you could get a job, and I feel this way genuinely. I genuinely feel this way, and I think Laura would agree. You could have a job in your dream field doing what you love, in like your dream, doing your passion. But if you're working for a bad management team and your company is bad company culture, forget it. I won't stay. I won't do it. I mean, that's why I started cleaning houses in the first place. I was working as a writer. Not to say it was like what my passion was, but I loved writing. That was my jam. But the company culture at the office I worked at was so horrible and bad, and someone was getting fired every Friday, and we didn't know who it was going to be, and it was cliquey, and there was just so many things wrong with it that I was like, Laura, I don't even care. I'll clean houses. Just get me out of this office. Get me out of here. I can't take it anymore. And that's like what happened. That's how it all started. So I'm just saying,
origin story.
That's the origin story. So if, you may think, oh, like, what do I have to offer? I'm a service-based company. I'm a cleaning company. I'm a landscaping company. I don't know, whatever you do. No, if you are giving good pay and you're incentivizing and you're appreciating and you're treating them well and you're really working on that company culture, people will love working for you. They will love it. We have really good retention. We're able to retain a lot of employees who appreciate what we do. And not everybody will, some people just don't mesh and they prefer different things. I don't know. But for what we offer, people who find us and we hire, if we find those people who really like vibe with our, how we do things, then they end up lasting a really long time. So, yeah, sorry, little tangent there, but I just had to make sure you guys knew, like, you have to make sure you're offering something good in order to succeed with the bench.
Yeah, it's true, because people aren't going to wait for a crappy job. And you also, on the same vein, like, people will wait, but you also have to make sure that your bench is stocked with multiple people, because not everybody will wait. Like, if you're offering a really good job, the good ones that really value what you have to offer will wait, but not everybody will. Or some people will say, okay, I'll keep this opportunity open, but in the meantime, I'm going to apply. And if I find something sooner, I'm going to take it. And I've found that in our experience, and it makes sense, the longer in between the job offer is made and their first day of work, the longer distance between that, the more likely they are to no-show us. That's what I found. So stock that bench with multiple people, because it's really, Holly and I, somebody quit, same day. Hey, you want a job? Or, hey, can you start sooner? It's happened to us so many times. And it just assures that, especially if you're in an industry like this, where you could, being short staffed means you're going to have to be the one to go back into the field and do the cleaning or do whatever service you do. If you're short staffed and then you lose one, boom, you're back in the field full time. So you're really just protecting yourself. You're protecting your business. So stack that bench. I know it's scary. And also, if they don't want to wait, that's fine. You have not because you asked not. At least ask them. If they're not willing to wait, they say, no, I really want something sooner. And I'll go as far as during the actual interview, if I know that we're pretty overstaffed, before the interview even ends, I'll say, hey, how soon are you looking to start? If they say as soon as possible, I say, would you be willing to wait a week or two to start? And people will be honest with you. Some people are like, absolutely not. I need a job as of yesterday. Those people I might not ask to sit on the bench. But if people are like, I'd rather work right away, but I'm willing to wait, then they're going, they're going on a bench. So you just got to be honest and upfront with people, because I think that that's fair. You have to be realistic with people. I mean, we've had people that have come in and I've loved them, but they have said, I need 40 hours. I need overtime. I need to start right away. And I just know that our job wouldn't be a good fit for them. So I'm honest with them and said, hey, you're a great fit, but I don't think that this job's a great fit for you. So it's just that mutual respect of being honest and upfront with your candidates, and hope that they do the same in return.
Totally. And I think the other beautiful thing is that, because you could say, oh, I have a stacked bench. Let me stop interviewing, right? Wrong. So wrong. Because like Laura said, you don't know who's going to stay on that bench. And don't ever call it a bench to them. That sounds weird. But I have a invisible bench that I put all my candidates on. No, you're not going to say that. But you know what we're trying to say. But like Laura said, like, the economy is tough right now. People need work. There's a chance that they may not wait. Or, like we said, in some cases they may go find something, but then they may decide to come back to you if like they really love what you're offering. But that's neither here nor there. It is so important though, because you, like I said, don't know who's going to be still in need of a job, who on your bench is still going to be willing to come work for you. And there have been times where we had nobody on that bench, or at least nobody like eligible or whatever. And we would say, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? But Laura's like, don't worry, I got 3 more days of interviews this week. We'll find somebody. And then we do. So it's just so important to always, always, always be interviewing, even if you have a full bench, even if you don't really need anybody, just always be interviewing and always fill that pipeline with potential candidates. It's really important.
Yeah. And I know that it's scary too. And, we have been there where we have made this mistake a few times, which is why we're coming at you from experience, where we're like, we're good. We're going to pause those ads. And I feel like a lot of that, comes from wanting to save money on those job ads, wanting to save time for the interviews, because interviewing, it takes time. But also, I feel, and we're going to do episodes about this specifically, I feel like being overstaffed can be super scary, right? Like being overstaffed is like, oh my God, what if I don't have enough work for my employees? They're going to leave. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to offer crazy discounts or free cleanings to fill these schedules. So that can be kind of scary, which is oftentimes why we've stopped interviewing. But on the flip side of that, I can tell you what's even scarier: being understaffed. Being understaffed is way scarier than being overstaffed, because let me tell you what's going to happen if you're understaffed. You open yourself up to be vulnerable. You will tolerate bad behavior. You'll tolerate bad employees. You will keep somebody that maybe should have been fired a week ago because, hey, keeping that bad employee is better than me having to go back out into the field and not getting work done. So you have no leverage if you're understaffed. So, and you can always get creative when you are overstaffed. There's always opportunities. I mean, Holly and I'm sure you've seen, if you follow us on social media, we will discount cleanings. We will offer free cleanings. You could do raffles. We do brand ambassador free cleanings. We do so many things to make sure that our A players' schedules are full. But then that's it. The A player schedules are full. We'll try to fill the B players. And hopefully if we're overstaffed, we have no C players. So you really just want to leave yourself no opportunity to be vulnerable. And we're definitely going to do an episode about what to do when you're understaffed, what to do when you're overstaffed. Although this is kind of like a what to do when you're understaffed hire. Right? That's all there is to it. But yeah, you just don't want to leave yourself open to any kind of vulnerability.
Yeah. And I want to go back and talk about statistics that we found on fortune.com, which were actually shared. These were actually shared by Libby, our coach, Libby DeLucian, in one of our groups. And she, and I confirmed it when I went on fortune.com. There was a study, and it was kind of all over the internet. You can Google it. But in terms of Gen Zers, right? I hate to hate on Gen Z, but like, come on. 93% of Gen Zers ghost interviews. 93% will not show up. And 87% of them ghost the first day of work. They just don't show up. And
that's crazy.
It's nuts, right? You get a job and then you're just like, I'm not going to go. And I don't know if it's a matter of like they're living at home still, so maybe they don't need money, or if they find a new job. I'm not sure what the reason is, but it does seem like a lot of people from Gen Z and these like younger generations think that like they have issues with management, right? Because we've all had bad jobs. They don't grant you days off. They don't understand when you're taking a sick day, whatever. Like there's a lot of weirdness with that. But the unfortunate matter is, even with somebody who offers flexible hours and, does grant days off and is very understanding of, call outs and things like that, someone like us, because we are like that. We're as understanding as we can be, as we can be. They'll ghost you too. It doesn't matter if you're a small business. It doesn't matter. And I just want to throw that statistic out there, but don't let that don't believe that because you're hiring somebody who's older or not in Gen Z that you're safe. Because we've been ghosted by people older than us. So don't always assume that because somebody's in a certain age range that they're going to behave a certain way. Honestly, you cannot assume that. But there are many times when people will not survive their training week with us because it's just too much. And training takes a lot of time and money. So this is why it goes back to always hiring, because it's going to take time. Like if somebody leaves and they just ghost you, or they don't give you notice, or even if they do, but you haven't been able to find somebody, you got to onboard them. You got to do all these things, and then it takes time. So you just got to make sure that like you are constantly keeping the wheel moving.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because I feel like people don't realize how long the training process takes, because you got to hire, then you got to onboard, you got to background check, wait for the background check to come back. You got to train the trainee. And then what if they need extra training days? Like it's such a long process that you need to get that ball rolling a few weeks until you're actually going to need them to be a full-fledged technician with a schedule, because also building their schedule also takes time. You don't want to throw them right to the wolves. So that's another really good point to keep in mind, is just the length. And also, let's be honest, how freaking expensive it is to train somebody, because you're paying your tech, you're paying your trainer training pay, and you're paying your trainee. So you want to keep all this in mind when you are hiring, and how long it's going to take.
I want to make a quick note too, before we wrap this episode up super quick, is that you should not be hiring people and then just sending them out to clean. You should not be doing that. We've all made that mistake, us ourselves included, where we would just be like, all right, we're going to go clean a house together, and then, all right, good luck. No, that's not how you do it. You absolutely must have a training system in place. That'll be for a different day. But you should have a training system in place that's going to take time. It's going to cost you money, but it's going to be worth it in the end. So I just wanted to throw that out there and make sure you guys do that. But you always want to make sure you have that, like I said, those wheels spinning, the ball rolling, like people coming in, people training, people onboarding, because at the end of the day, not everybody's going to last as it is. Some people may realize, whoa, cleaning is not for me. I'm sweating. I don't like to sweat. Like that will happen. I remember one time we hired somebody who was a germaphobe. And she didn't tell us, she didn't disclose that to us, but she actually walked out of a house crying because she had to clean a toilet.
Yeah, she was like, there was pee on the toilet. I was like, yeah, it's a toilet.
You will encounter the weirdest stuff in this industry, I tell you. But so you always just want to make sure you have your guard up. You want to stay vigilant, and you just want to make sure like you're, getting that done. So yeah, I think that we covered all the main points here. Make sure you're always hiring, because 52% of your current employees are thinking about leaving. Make sure you keep your bench stocked and ready to go. Training takes time and money, so you got to make sure you're constantly doing it, because it makes it more difficult to replace if you're not already having people ready to go out and go. People think it's okay to ghost you for your interviews, for your first day of work. So you got to make sure you keep those interview slots open. And if you are overstaffed, you have the ball in your court as the business owner. You can cut hours if people are not performing the way you need them to perform. You'll be less likely to tolerate bad behavior, and you'll be less likely to keep a bad employee. If you are overstaffed, you can absolutely, you can, I hate to say it, it sounds so mean, but it's true. You can get rid of your bad employees.
It's
or
true.
you could have the step up or step out conversation, right? Like, we are expecting more from you and you're not performing the way we need you to, we're going to cut your hours until you can really prove to us that you want these hours. And that's that. So I think this was very helpful. And if you think so as well, make sure you, show us some love in like subscribe to the episode and all that good stuff. Sorry, I'm giving a thumbs up to an employee who just walked in. Like, hey.
It's like, I see you.
You just see us always be hiring in real time. Like, see, you know what I'm saying? Like,
literally, talk about good timing. Holly and I literally hired 2 new employees this week alone. So we are practicing what we preach, y'all. Trust me, we are always coming at you from experiencing it in real time. So since our new employee is here, let's wrap up this episode. Be sure to go check us out on social media. You can find this podcast at Hustled Up Podcast on Instagram. Shoot us an email at hustleduppodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to go follow us on the social medias. Go check out our business, Instagram and TikTok at Chores and More. We've really been trying to step up that TikTok game at the Chores and More page. And go find me at Laura Anatoli on everything.
And I'm just going to say all my links are in the description and in the show notes because everything is all over the place. I don't even remember what I am anymore. So you can go connect with us over there. And we look forward to connecting with you guys even more. Go kick some booty this week. Let us know if this was helpful for you, especially as you grow your business. We want to know. We want your feedback. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.